Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Double Feature Versus. I am Black Cinephile.
I am AKA Brad.
That is AKA Brad. Before we get started, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what topic ideas you might have for us in the future. And let's get into it, man. We got a good one today, man. We got a produced by George Lucas duo here. I gotta say, man, one of these films, I know why it's a classic. I can see why it holds up. It's very lovely. The other one, I don't know why it exists. But
I mean, one's getting a sequel as a TV series on Disney Plus, and one isn't even available on Disney Plus as a Lucasfilms movie.
I got it, dude. I looked up this movie because I'm not going to reveal which one yet. People can use their imagination. I looked up this film on Disney Plus. I said, okay, so this should be on here. No, it's not on here. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Yeah. And then I watched it, and then afterwards I realized why that's not on Disney Plus.
Right.
I realized why they want to detach themselves from that.
Right. And so we're taking a look at two movies today, Howard the Duck and Willow. Both of these were set to be big franchises to coincide with Lucasfilms. Howard the Duck was actually one of the few Marvel properties to actually leave Marvel at the time, and it was picked up by Lucasfilms. And with Willow, it was supposed to stand up and be like the second Star Wars for Lucasfilms in terms of this giant fantasy world. And I think they kind of missed the mark on both of them a little bit.
I think we're going to talk about it, but I think Willow was very Tolkien-esque, and I think it worked to its favor. I don't think that was a downside to the movie. If that's what you think about if that's what you mean by missing the mark.
Well, I mean, missing the mark as in being like the next Star Wars. Like they were literally pinning it up and being like, yeah, Willow is going to be like the next Star Wars where we're going to have another trilogy and it's going to be this huge thing. And nothing compares to Star Wars. Like they were already trying to shoot, the smallest target in a dark room in order to hit that mark again.
That's disappointing because I would have liked to see a whole Willow saga.
I mean, we're getting it finally with the TV series coming to Disney Plus soon. So
yeah, I know, man, but that's
that's different.
How far removed is that now? Where it's like, hey, you remember this? We're bringing this back.
You remember? But so between these two movies, I don't know. How did you want to start with this one?
I feel like when you have torture and pleasure at your hand and your disposal on which one you want to go with first, I'd rather go through the torture to get to the pleasure. So let's just go with old Howie first.
Okay. I'll let you take this one over.
Yeah, please let me take this over.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Howard the Duck. We got this 1986, directed by Willard Huyck. I think that's his name. So basically, Howard is a duck who in the beginning, he exists in his own universe with other ducks. Hence the word universe. It's a universe full of walking, talking ducks, walking around like humans in their own society. A science experiment goes wrong and transports Howard from his universe to our universe because science, folks. So Howard ends up in our universe. Along the way, Howard finds a rock singer by the name of Beverly, who becomes his friend. It kind of sort of love interest too, who is trying to help him get back home. He's in a strange land. Everyone that looks at him is freaked out because it's literally a walking, talking duck that smokes and has zingers, and it kind of is just a regular person, but just a duck. So he's trying to figure out how to get home. Beverly's friend Phil, played by Tim Robbins. I love Tim Robbins. He's very obsessed with trying to figure out what Howard is, trying to get rich off Howard's existence. And he kind of has the wrong motivations to figure out how to get him back home because, like I said, he just wants to get rich. On top of that, we have I want to say is it the government that's after him?
So it is, yes, later on it is the like FBI government, of this world that is going after him because they see him as a threat.
Right,
because he's from another world, so they want to capture him, dissect him, and like learn about him and everything like that. Meanwhile, he just wants to get back home.
Okay, right. So that's the bare bones plot of Howie the Duck. So look, man, in the beginning, I kind of knew how goofy this movie was gonna be. So I was on this wavelength. All right. We got a duck sitting down, watching duck TV with a duck Playboy. I'm with it. I understand it's 80s. I'll stick with it. When he got transported, I was like, okay, I'm still with it. And I don't know, man. It's like somewhere along the line, I was like, this movie is dumb as hell. it wasn't a funny dumb to me because at first I was like saying, okay, all right, let's see what happens. This probably will get a little funnier and a little more insane, but it became more insane for the wrong reasons. And I was like, wow, I can't. I mean, I kind of laughed when Tim Robbins showed up because I liked his manic energy. But even then, I was like, man, what does Brad have me watching, man?
Yeah, this is as soon as I put this on the list, I kind of expected you to go, yeah, we're not watching that one. And you were just like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, oh, you don't know. Oh, this is gonna be great.
Listen, I'm willing to go to certain places. All right, like even with the Tenacious D movie, I had my reservations, but I'm like, you know what, this means something to Brad. I'll watch it. Like I'm willing to go certain places, but don't look surprised when I complain about the places you took me to.
Oh yeah, I heavens no, I absolutely love it. But yeah, with this movie, it is a roller coaster of a horrible, because every time you think, okay, this might be going somewhere, it doesn't at all. Because we have the whole thing with the Cherry Bomb band, where what's her name, Beverly, is a part of it, where she kind of is one of the lead singers of this band, and Howard meets up with her and goes to like the bar where she's playing and everything, and he meets the manager, and they have what I can only assume was the worst fight that somebody had to describe ever.
Oh man. That was horrific.
Oh, it went from like being this, oh my God, I can tell they were trying to go for like, oh, look at Howard, he's such a badass. But it was so bad that it was funny. And then it became so funny that it became just cringy to watch.
I can't imagine that was meant to be taken seriously. I can't imagine that.
It definitely wasn't supposed to be as humorous as it comes off.
Wow.
I can almost guarantee that, because the way that they have the fight going and stuff, and how they have them like trying to both like puff their chests out, and it's like, you're literally fighting a duck. How are you losing this? Yeah.
Then you got way before that, you got the classic alleyway sequence where you got a woman in distress, Beverly, who's being like hunted down by these guys who are like, hey, you know what? What you running away from us for? It's the classic scene where you got the hero come in and save her. But I think she does most of the fighting, right?
She does, yeah. And Howard does nothing basically. Or no, he stands there. So he's present.
He stands there mimicking her moves, like yeah, get him.
He acts as a very good cheerleader.
I gotta say, dude, this wasn't geared towards kids, was it?
No, this was M-rated, or this, yeah.
M-rated.
Not M-rated. It was mature rated. It was
PG-13 or something.
I'm trying to think if it was PG-13.
I don't know if this is an R-rated movie. I would say this is a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, I don't think it was rated R, but at the same time, I don't think it was PG-13. This might actually be a little bit before they came up with ratings.
Oh man.
Because when did this movie come out? This came out in 86. When did the rating system start for movies?
Not sure it was way before 86, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I think
sure.
so, but
I don't know.
but at the same time, Ghostbusters is a PG movie and everything like that. So the rating system has changed a lot. So maybe this was PG-13 at the time.
The reason I asked is because the sweatshop scene, like I was like, what am I watching, dude?
Oh,
Because the lady, and this is actually a stupid funny scene to me. She was like, oh, I'm gonna get you a job. You think you come up here dressed like a duck trying to scare folks? I'm gonna get you a job. I was like, that lady is very determined. And when she bent over, he was gonna bite her butt. And I think she turned around and smacked him with the papers or something. Then cut to
no, she like threw the paper and he ended up biting the paper.
Oh, right. That was weird. But
Yep.
cut to the sweatshop. I think it was like I don't know what this place was. I don't know if it was a brothel. I don't know if
it was a love spa of some kind.
Yeah, it was a love spa. And then my man, he's coming around. He's like, you gotta clean the toilets and such. He's like, I'm not contracted for that. He says, you're contracted for it. I tell you you're contracted for. Now, here's what made me laugh. Like, and I think this was actually meant to be funny. When the guy comes in, and I think Howard sets up something where he slips into the mud thing.
Oh yeah, the mud bat. He pushes Howard into it because previously he threw Howard into one of the spas, and the joke of Howard can't swim because he's a duck. It's funny. Ha ha ha. Very good joke, guys. And so his revenge is then throwing him into the mud spa.
Right. I thought that was funny. Yeah. I thought that was funny. I laughed at that. But I'm like, this is a whole lot of filler that we just can we get back to the plot of what's happening with this duck? Like, is he ever gonna go home?
That's the thing. There is no plot.
And then out of nowhere, my man, I recognize that actor because I've always seen him. Jeffrey Jones, his role, Walter Jennings. Homeboy just gets possessed out of nowhere. I'm like, when did that happen?
Yeah, I like how that all happens off screen. We're just like, we decided to run the machine again, even though we had no idea what it did. And then Homeboy gets what is it? The creature takes over his body to live inside of him, which is a creepy thought, and proceeds to then search down Howard at a diner for some reason. It's not explained why he cares about Howard, but he decides to track down Howard at a diner and steals Beverly. I can say it's such a creepy thing. The one thing where they had like all the cars parked in front of the truck though, and he like blew them up. And what was it? He said that smog control. And it's like, that was so dumb. And it actually made me crack up.
What made me crack up was when they're in the diner and a lot of stuff is happening. And at some point, Beverly is like, help us. He's like, I'm waiting on my eggs. Like I'm waiting for the lady to serve me my eggs.
Yeah, it's this movie it's just mostly zingers, and whenever they're funny, it's not funny because of the zinger. It's funny because of how bad it is and how somebody was like, "Oh, this is a good one. This is going to be great."
Dude, I was watching that bedroom scene, and I was like, okay, at some point Beverly's gonna say, "Hey, I'm just joking," but the fact that she actually entertains having sex with this duck, I'm like, all right, we've gone into the high. We've gone into the high stratosphere of Roger Corman, like corny right now. Like I can't handle it.
Keep in mind, there was also the scene previously in the movie where she's going through his wallet and
she sees
that
made
condom.
me laugh. That made me laugh because because of how small it was. Two, why would you have it used? But are ducks just reusing them? Why
I have no idea.
Why is the used one in there? That makes no sense.
Oh yeah, this movie is just, oh man. But yeah, we have to get toward the end of the movie where we finally have the confrontation of what the big problem is, which is the device that can send Howard back was used again and got another alien to the planet that wants to take over. And what was his name? Like Dark Lord of the Universe or something like that?
I think it was. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, Dark Overlords of the Universe.
Dark Overlords of the Universe. Yeah, it's stupidest name ever. And he's like, we got to run the machine, and I'm going to bring other people back, and one of them's going to inhabit Beverly. And Howard's like, no, please don't. And then he proceeds to fly to the laboratory with the one scientist on like a biplane kind of thing, which that sequence lasts way too long.
That whole act lasts too long. Because I'm like, at one point, Howard saves the day by doing something. Dude, I kind of blocked a lot of this movie out of my mind.
So he kills the monster and then he destroys the beam that can send him back home because it prevents anything else from coming back to Earth.
Right. So you got that. And I'm like, okay, end of movie. Sure. No, we got a whole bunch of other stuff we got to cover. And I'm like, why? He basically just did the main story point. Like, that's the main plot beat. Mission to go home over. He has to stay with the humans now and be friends. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man. I now this movie is a perfect example of rewrites are necessary.
Yes, absolutely. Well, originally this was supposed to be a cartoon, and they decided that making it a cartoon was going to cost too much money, so they decided to go live action with it.
I'd be a little less upset if it was a cartoon, because a lot of stuff I would accept. I would accept Beverly almost sleeping with Howard. I would accept the Howard condom. I would accept everything if it was cartoonish. The fact that it went the fact they had the balls to go live action, I just couldn't.
Yeah, this was one thing, because I can't remember what the full story was, but it basically went that they shopped this around to a couple places for, distribution and everything, because this was back when Lucasfilms was just getting started. They didn't have, the Star Wars under their belt, Indiana Jones under the belt and everything, and they couldn't find anybody for it. So they changed it to live action because one of the biggest things was an animated movie of this kind of, size would cost too much and take too long to make. So they decided to go live action with it, and they got picked up like almost right away for it, which, man, did Universal make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, and I heard the three different people that was going to play Howard, it was Martin Short, John Cusack, and Robin Williams. I don't really see John Cusack unless he's playing an everyday guy. And then I was like, okay, Cusack is an inspired choice. Martin Short, yeah. Robin Williams, definitely. I think Robin quit because he's like, this is what they quoted him on. Again, I'm going off Wikipedia, so take that with a grain of salt. He says, I can't do this. It's insane. I can't get the rhythm of this. I'm being confined to match the flapping duck's bill. That's his quote of why he didn't do the movie. He couldn't do it.
He is very Mad Libby, so I could see that as being a problem where they're like, we have a puppeteer that's literally doing the bill movements. They can't keep up with him. I could see him being like, I can't do this. It's just, what, you want me to read the words on the paper? That's not happening.
I see. Now that makes the opening scene of Miss Doubtfire. That makes sense now. When he's doing the animated character and he's ad-libbing, and they're like, dude, just do what's in the script. It's like, I got inspiration. I got to ad-lib. This is who I am. I was like, yeah, that's who Robin is. You can't control Robin.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think it's Aladdin. They have basically enough footage of him just ad-libbing different scenes that they can make an entirely different movie just focusing on the genie himself.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's who he was. I want to know what else I can talk about with this. Tim Robbins. I like Tim Robbins. I think Tim Robbins is good in this movie. I just think See, Tim Robbins has that Jim Carrey like manic energy in this movie, and it works. I just wish the movie was as good to match him or to benefit him.
Right. I will say his introduction was funny, like legitimately got me a laugh is when he first sees Howard and he runs out of the room and runs into like this board meeting. Is like, oh my God, it's right there. We have the answer of everything. And then everybody's just looking at it. He goes, never mind, it's all good. It's just keep going.
It says, never mind. Like I was like, wow, like he has the great kind of energy. And I think this was like pre like Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura. I was like, wow, he has great energy. But the movie sucked. So it's like it wasn't like the energy was matched or like benefited.
Yeah, he definitely was a good energetic vibe against Howard's very like, I'm just an everyman duck. Leave me alone, whatever. So the two of them worked kind of well off of each other when they were both in their element.
Now, I think this would have been a completely different movie if it was just Phil and Howard. Now, Beverly is cool. I think Beverly will work as a side character along the way, and they kind of both vied for Beverly's affection. That would be a funny kind of like plot line. But I think when you got Howard and Beverly together more than you got Howard and Phil, I think that didn't work to the film's benefit, because I like how Howard's talking with Phil at the rock concert, and Phil is like, I got it. Eureka, I got the new idea. Howard's like, get away from me, you schmuck. And Howard makes one motion like he's gonna backsmack him. I'm like, I like their dynamic. Like, I thought they were fun together.
Yeah. But I mean, if it was only Howard and Phil, where would we get the sexual tension?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't think the tension was needed. I think we can throw the tension out the window.
Are you sure? It was a very important subplot to the movie. They focused on it a lot.
I love the stupid excuse they give. First of all, how do these people just get in their house? Like these people just come in Beverly's house and they remove the curtain. And Beverly's sitting in the bed with Howard, and Howard's like, we're just friends. She's like, yeah. I was like, really? Y'all gonna go with that dumb kind of like moment of like, oh, we're just friends. Like, really?
Not only that, but they just went into her house. Door was unlocked.
Exactly.
Like, you didn't knock or anything.
Yeah, that was just wild to me. I think I'm all set on this one, man. I'll be fair because of Tim Robbins. This is a 2 out of 5.
Oh, you're being fair, huh?
No, I mean
you're gonna make me be the dick, huh?
For all of its absurdity, it did hold my attention. For all of its absurdity, it held my attention. This isn't jujitsu to me, it held my attention. I'll say that.
It held your attention, but you can't tell me what the plot of this movie was.
No, it's simple. A duck gets transported to our universe. He has to get back to our universe. He falls in love with a rocker. There's this government that's coming after him, trying to stop him. The government guy does something stupid that causes one of the overlords to kind of possess him. And he messes up. He gets rid of Overlord and gets rid of his chance of going back to Earth. And so he becomes friends with us. Are you smarter than a fifth grader, my friend? No, I mean, that's the plot. It just takes a long way to get there.
Right. How long was this movie? It's like 2 hours, isn't it?
I want to say about. It's about, and I was surprised at the length. It's 111 minutes. This movie could have been 90 minutes.
Oh, it could have been,
It could have been 20 minutes, actually.
I was going to say, you could probably bust this down to about 40 minutes.
This movie could have done with a good edit of 90 minutes, dude. 90 minutes taken away. Because I feel this way, and I know you love that movie. I feel this way the same way I felt about Nightmare Before Christmas. This could have been a half-hour special, and I would have been all right with it.
See, the difference is Nightmare Before Christmas is actually a great movie.
It has great moments. It's great looking. I'll give it that. It's great looking.
But when it comes to Howard the Duck, this is a 1 out of 5 to me.
1.
Yeah, it has, yes, Tim Robbins is good in it, But one good actor that has about 10 minutes of screen time in 2 hours of a movie does not make a good movie.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah, this was whack, man.
Yep. But
I
that does bring us to the second movie that we have, assuming you don't have anything else to say about Howard the Duck.
no, I wrapped up everything.
Okay. So that brings us to
Wait,
the
just to
movie.
confirm, you got nothing else to say about it?
No, I have absolutely nothing else to. No,
You
wait.
sure?
Yeah. Yeah. No, wait. Yeah. Nothing else. Nothing else. I'm good.
All right.
I think we can move on from that disaster.
All right, absolutely. All right,
So that brings us to the second movie, another Lucas film, this time directed by Ron Howard. We have Willow, which takes place in a magical fantasy world where we follow the story of a Willow who comes across a human child. Willow, I'm trying to remember, what do they call him? Nelwyn, the Nelwyn people. So
mhm.
they're kind of like dwarves in this mystical world. And so Willow comes across a human child and decides to raise it until the village is attacked by a queen who is trying to find this child to kill it, because this is the child that can end her reign of terror. So Willow then decides to bring the child to somewhere where it can be safe and keep his village safe, where he runs across a cavalcade of characters to join him on his quest to find a safe place for this child. That is the bare bones description of this movie.
And listen, I gotta tell you, dude, you gotta go through hell to get to heaven. Sometimes, and I feel like going through Howard and then watching Willow, I was like, you know what, this is such a breath of fresh air. I was close to giving this movie a 5 out of 5 just off the first opening frame compared to what I just saw beforehand. I was like, you know what, I don't even need to watch this, man. This is a 5 out of 5 because coming off what I just saw a few minutes ago, this is way better. But
I'm gonna have to remember that tactic. I'm just gonna put Howard the Duck up against other movies I want you to like.
you watch Howard the Duck with Matrix 4, you go, you know what, maybe this film wasn't so bad. Matrix 4 was actually pretty solid.
No. No.
But look, man, Willow, dude. I gotta say, when this is my first time seeing this film. I had always heard about it. I think you told me about it at one point when you announced that the new series was coming, and I think we spoke about Warwick Davis at one point. Mm-hmm. And so I saw this film. This is my first time watching this film, and dude, I really liked it, man. I liked the Tolkien-esque feel of the world and the characters. I like the interaction between the characters. I feel like when we start off, I think Warwick just has like a great warmth to him as Willow. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh yeah.
You know, with him, he's a father, he has kids, he has a loving wife. He's a guy you want to root for. He's like a Bilbo Baggins kind of, you know, with the family. And,
right. He's kind of the underdog in this village that he lives in, where he's like the everyman. He has to deal with, you know, the same taxes as everybody else. He's a farmer, so he has to deal with everything with that. So he's a standard guy.
Yeah, and when they come across the baby, at first Willow was like, hey, you know, that's bad luck. We can't have that baby. And then his kids are like, but dad, she's so cute and all that. And, you know, Willow, of course, you know, Willow's gonna come around like, all right, you know, we'll take the baby in. You know, he's a guy you like. He's relatable. He Warwick just brings you in, and you instantly like him. Now, when the story gets told with you know, the creatures coming, that they were at some fair where he was talking to some sorcerer, and the sorcerer gave him a test like, which finger has the magic. Willow fails the test as well as other people. And then he tells Willow later on, like, be honest with me. What would you have really done in that?
Or what was your first choice? You You hesitated to choose. What was your first choice?
Right. And then Willow's like, well, I would have used my own finger. He says, now you're thinking like a sorcerer. So the film is building up that something bigger is destined for Willow, as the story should.
Mhm.
And I like that. I feel like this film, it shows Ron Howard's skills of like crafting a great adventure film. Like, I don't feel like that man gets enough flowers, as popular
Oh
as he is. Like, Ron Howard just knows how to tell a story. But I like how you're instantly rooting for and in touch with the character as the film starts off and as they go on their journey, because the fellow dwarfs, they're like, let's just ditch the baby. She's bringing more harm than good. And and Willow's like, I got a mission here, man. I don't want to leave the baby. So at some point they come across Val Kilmer, Val Kilmer's
Mhm.
character, who is a mercenary in a cage. He's caged up, and he's like, "Yo, let me free. I'll take care of the baby. I won't let anything happen to it." Now, naturally, they're like, "Dude, I don't know. We shouldn't leave a baby with this guy." But
Well, you got to keep in mind, his character is being an absolute dick to, the Nelwyns that are with uh, Willow at the time as well. So you had to keep in mind, they're literally coming upon a guy in a cage that's making fun of them for being Nelwyns and going, no, give me the baby. Free me and give me the baby. I'll take care of it.
right,
He's
right.
basically just trying to get him to open the cage. And eventually they do let him out of the cage and everything. And he, takes the baby and is like, I promise I'll take care of it. I'll do everything that I can.
Right. And then speak about you only had one job. Freaking
Right.
a freaking bird comes by and grabs the baby. He goes like, I stole a baby. I stole a baby. And it's like you see Willow like, what the that's my baby. So he runs after the baby, and this is where he comes into the little people. What were they called?
What were they?
Hold on, I
They
can
were
find
called
uh brownies.
brownies.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he comes across the brownies, who are also tasked from the queen. I forgot what her name is. I forgot a lot of characters' names, but I know what happened. Like there was a queen that says, we are
Uh,
destined to look after this baby, and this baby chose you, Willow, to be its guardian. Alora, they chose to look after Alora, the baby, and Alora chose you, Willow, to be its guardian.
mhm.
So this is kind of where the crew this is kind of where the Hobbit crew kind of comes together. I'm gonna make a lot of Tolkien references because I think this is highly influenced by Tolkien.
Yeah, I believe so. I think there was some heavy influence from the Lord of the Rings with the like medieval themes and the different kinds of races of people and everything like that.
Yeah. If we're wrong, let us know. But like I see a lot of Tolkien stuff in here, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think this is something Tolkien-esque influence that comes off very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Like I even love the dynamic between Mad Mardigan and Sorsha. Sorsha is a daughter to the evil queen, and she follows her mother's word. The mother wants the baby dead, and so she follows her word. But you could tell she has a conscience, and you could tell when she meets Mad Mardigan, it starts off as a hate-love relationship. It starts off with hate. They both hate each other. And
Well,
then
they're on opposite teams at
of
that
course,
point. Yeah.
and then Mad Mardigan gets the love potion from the brownies. And I love how he walks up on her when she's sleeping, like, oh, I love you. You're the love of my life. My whole life has been destined for you. And she's starting
Yeah.
to kill him, like, I will slice your throat. He says, I'll take 1,000 stabs if sacrifice for your love. I'm like, what woman wouldn't fall to hear something like that?
Right. From Val Kilmer.
Right, from Val Kilmer.
Right.
This is 80s Val Kilmer. You know what I'm saying? What woman wouldn't fall go and hearing Val Kilmer say that, man?
Right.
Because you see her pause a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love their dynamic, dude. I love the brownies are funny. You got Rick Overton and Kevin Pollak. I just love their like little commentary on everything.
Oh yeah, because they literally basically are traveling in the hood of Willow's jacket most of the movie, where they're basically just, the angel and devil on his shoulders for decisions throughout the movie. And I like when they even get left behind at one point. They're like, it would take us ages to find them. Well, it would take us ages to get back home. I didn't say we were going back home. Let's go.
Right. I love that. And I don't this shouldn't have tickled me as much as it did, but it did. I like when they meet Finn Raziel, the sorceress that's like now a possum.
Hmm.
And she's like, I got turned into a possum, right? I'm a beautiful young woman underneath this. Val Kilmer's like, okay, we should help her out.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's help her out. And I like how when Willow tries to do it, and he no. She asks him, okay, you must turn me at once. And Willow's like, I don't know how to turn you. She's like, you're not a sorcerer? She's like, no, I was just put on this mission to save the baby. And
Right.
so I like how each time he tries, she gets turned into another animal.
Yeah, because after that, she gets turned into like a crow.
Right. It was a crow, then it was a goat, and then it was her natural self, right?
Yeah, then it was like a bunch of animals she kind of morphed into, and then finally herself.
Yeah. I like that, man. I like the colorful characters we have here, man. I think this is just a very fun movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the cast definitely brings this one together because you have it like The Hobbit, like Dark Crystal, like The Labyrinth. You just have such like a great mystical world of different people and everything like that the world does suck you in.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, man. Another thing I love about this movie is the action. Like the action is pretty well done for its time.
Oh yeah. So some of the action scenes you have some sketchy green screen and everything like that, but it's fine for this movie,
Mhm.
and it still keeps you engulfed in it. There's a couple times where it's like, okay, they were probably budget constrained in some of these scenes and everything, but it's such a great kind of like adventure movie that you can put that kind of stuff aside because you really get into it where like the brownies are fighting people and you're like, yeah, you can kind of see the green screen effect because they literally just shrunk them down and everything. But
Right.
they do a really good job of making them feel like they're kind of a part of this world, even with the technology barriers they had at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the final I love the climax, dude. Like I love how and this is where this film has an element of darkness, but I like the element of darkness it presents where the evil queen she's like it's like, oh, you guys aren't gonna fight me, you're all pigs. She literally turns everybody
Oh
to
yeah.
pigs. And I was like, wow, she even turned her own daughter into a pig. You see the brownies turning into pigs, which I don't know how that would go. The brownies, they like, you just leave them as
They,
brownies. They can't do
they were
anything.
very, very tiny pigs.
Right, like they can't do anything anyway. But
Right.
yeah, I like that scene. I really like the whole final like showdown. I thought that was pretty well laid out action wise.
Yeah. Well, even when they're in the castle and everything like that, going up against that two-headed beast, uh, where was that? It was in the castle where they were like, we have safety here. And then they got there and found out the army was completely turned to stone by trolls.
I know what you're talking
So
about. Yeah.
yeah, in that entire like fight sequence where they're kind of going up and down the castle and everything like that, that was really well done. I really like that part. Even like the claymation 3D modeled kind of dragon thing. It was ugly enough to like fit in this world while also having that different kind of animation style to it that
Mhm.
it was like, okay, I can see it. Like there's such a varying degree of like how everything is stylized in this movie that it doesn't feel too off-putting in a normal situation where it definitely would like stick out.
Yeah. I think it's very well constructed. The final showdown between him and the witch, between I'm queen, witch, whatever. The main villain.
Mhm.
I like how Willow was like, I'm gonna take her to a place where she'll have safety and no danger. That's impossible. So he makes a spell and she disappears.
Mhm.
She's like, no, and then she ends up getting killed. And then I like when they go to Willow and say, what well, where'd you put her? Oh, it was just my old pig trick. And he had her in a
Oh, yeah.
bundle or something. And I was like, see, I know that's of that era, the 80s era, but that's a like final ending punchline that makes me smile. You
Right.
know?
And for the people that haven't seen the movie, the pig trick is at the beginning of the movie before, Willow leaves and everything. He's performing, magic tricks by, making a dove appear and not using in-world magic, but by using like sleight of hand trickery and everything. And one of them is where he makes a pig disappear by, hiding it under the table while making it seem like it disappeared. So that's what he does with the bait. Makes it appear that it disappeared, but it's really just hidden away right underneath where you can see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. This whole film just is great, dude. It just makes me smile. It puts a smile on my face. I think it's a great adventure film. When I have kids, I'll probably show this to them. Yeah, dude, this is I don't know if I'm gonna give it a straight 5, but I'll say this is a solid 4 out of 5.
I agree. This is a 4 out of 5 wholeheartedly. Everything about the adventure is great. The props and everything, the sets that they used are amazing.
Yeah.
You have Warwick Davis and Val Kilmer as two of the leads of this movie. You can't go wrong with that. That is a perfect duo right there. It's the actual themes of this movie. There is actual tension with different scenes. The action scenes pick up. It's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it definitely deserves a 4 out of 5, 100%. But I think their goal with it was kind of missed a little bit with trying to make this like the next Star Wars. But this has a fan base out there, a very dedicated fan base, and you can tell why.
I think this was a film where its ambition was a little too large at the time, but nowadays you could see the ambition coming forth. Nowadays, when you have something that has as strong of a fan base, we've seen revivals of everything, right? We've seen a Twin Peaks season 3. We've seen Murphy Brown come back on TV, Roseanne, now the Connors. Like a revival is possible when you have a strong enough fan base.
Right.
Yeah.
And this one definitely did. And I'm very curious to see where the TV series goes with it. But we'll see. I know that it's definitely one I'll be checking out in the future because I remembered seeing this one back in the day and being like, okay, and it's still holding up. It still has that same tone as like the Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, where it's like, okay, it was a product of its time that did very well in creating that kind of mythical kind of area. And if Lord of the Rings had come out during this time instead of later in like 2001 when the technology was up to par, this basically is what Lord of the Rings probably would have looked like.
Yeah.
They definitely had a good budget to it, that they had the freedom to make it very engulfing into its world.
I completely agree, man. All right, so I mean, we kind of said it without saying it. Willow is the winner here.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
Listen,
Willow definitely wins.
I knew Willow would win based off the first scene alone, bro. I just, and I mean that both ways. The first scene of Howard the Duck and the first scene of Willow. I mean, it's not apples and oranges here. Like when Willow told the whole prologue story of how the baby got to where Willow was at, I'm like, okay, this is automatically better than Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just no competition.
Basically, you were watching Howard the Duck and went, is that a duck taking a bath? You know what? No, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And with Willow, you were like, yeah, they're going to send the baby down the river. That makes sense. Let's do this.
It was the duck taking a bath. It was the duck itself. It was everything. And then you had the narration that never came back. Like,
yes,
this is the dawn of man. I was like,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
The fact you forgot about it says everything. That narrator just shows up and never comes back. Oh, man. All right, man. We're going to transition over to after show topics.
Okay.
Dude, since you and I last spoke, man, I pulled a double feature one day and I saw Tar and Triangle of Sadness.
Okay. And how did Tar end up being? Was it worth the 20-year wait?
20-year wait. Oh. Now, mind you, it didn't take him 20 years to make the movie. He
Oh, I
just took.
know.
He just okay. All right.
He was just, on hiatus for about 20 years.
Right. Oh, dude. I can't stress this enough. 5 out of 5.
Really?
It's just a terrific film, dude. Kate Blanchett just owns it in the leading role. And the best way I can describe it to you, because I don't even think I can give you spoilers, because it's really a film that's about a journey. In the beginning, it may, when you hear a lot of musical jargon, because the main character is a she's a leader of an orchestra, and she's a well-known figure within that world. The musical jargon might throw you off a little bit, but as you delve more into this character's life within the first 30 minutes, you're immediately hooked. It's really about a fall from grace. It's about a fall from grace. It brings in cancel culture a little bit. It brings in judgment. It brings in running from your past. There's so many deep, potent themes in this film that gets talked about within its 3 hour runtime. Well, near 3 hour runtime. It makes it a strong film, dude. It's a strong Best Picture contender. Kate Blanchett, like I said, she's amazing. She's a strong Best Actress contender. Todd Field, man. Every time he goes away for a while and comes back, he always kills it, and this film is no exception.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that one out. And what was the second one that you saw?
Triangle of Sadness. Now, this movie,
I don't think I've heard of that one.
No, you have. Remember, it was the cruise ship with Woody Harrelson.
Oh, yes. Okay. I know what you're talking about now. From the title, I was like, oh, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. So this movie was pretty long too. So this movie deals with a cruise ship, and the cruise ship is full of like rich people, influencers, and stuff. Long story short, things go wrong, and that takes up the bulk of the film. And the last third of the film is about the aftermath and things of that nature. The whole thing is like a satire. It's a comedy. I would give it a solid, I think, taking it all in, from its craft, the way it's made, to the way it plays its jokes out. It's a solid 4 out of 5. It's a solid 4 out of 5. I really liked it. I would say it's kind of not for everybody, because it's cringe comedy.
Okay.
It's good comedy, but it's cringe comedy. And I think the director, Ruben Östlund, I think that's his name, he kind of excels at that. That's kind of like his main thing with each of his last 3 movies, including this one. He excels at cringe comedy. So that's what this film is, and it's a satire, and it's a brutal send up of the rich and glamorous. There's a point being made here. Its ending is a bit ambiguous. It's a good ambiguous, but it's a bit ambiguous. But I liked it. I liked it.
Okay. That's kind of good. I can get behind some of those like cringe comedy kind of things. But at the same time, I understand when people are like, yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I can see that. You gotta like cringe comedy to like this movie.
Yeah. I might have to check that one out for sure, because especially if it has that kind of like tone to it, I think I can get behind that 100%.
Yeah. So that was my long day at the movies. Took quite a little bit of bladder control. But I enjoyed myself, man. I enjoyed the little double feature I did for myself. I haven't done that in a long time.
Oh yeah. See, that's one thing that I kind of miss about movies, is being able to like time out everything to be like, oh yeah, I'll do this, at this time, and then I'll just hop into this theater at this time. And now it's like, oh, there's a 2-hour gap between the 2 movies I want to see. Okay, I'm not going to hang around the movie theater for 2 hours waiting for it. And then it becomes, well, in that 2 hours, I could just go home. But if I go home, I'm not coming back to, go see another movie.
Right. The best thing about my experience was where I went was kind of at a mall. And the mall had a Cinnabon. And I just happened to have a Spectrum bag in my car. So I just put the Cinnabon bag in a Spectrum bag, and I just carried it, showed my ticket to the guy. He's like, have a good day, sir. Like, No comment. All right, I'm going into the theater with my Cinnabon. you know, I-
You literally probably could have been holding the Cinnabon while going, "Here's my ticket," and they'd be like, "Okay, sir, have a good time."
dude, I
They
could
wouldn't
be
have cared.
I could be holding a bottle of water, and they're just like, because I always hold my cup of water. There could be Hennessy in there. They're like, "Have a good day, sir." Maybe once in a while on opening night, they'd be like, "Can I see your ID?" They look at it without looking at it. All right, have a good day, sir.
Funny story about that, because A-list, like, they ask to see your ID and everything like that sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's rare. Yeah,
Sometimes. There was one time they actually asked me for it and I didn't have my ID on me because I had left it in my car. So I literally just flashed my wallet where it would normally be. And they didn't say anything. And they just let me through still. I was like, this is the best crowd control ever. I don't even
dude.
know if they realized I didn't have my ID in the hole. They just
What
looked
were
at
they
the wallet and
looking?
went,
What were they
that's
looking at?
I don't know. He
it
like
have your
looked
face on
up,
it?
stared for a minute, and went, "Yep, you're good."
Did it have your face on it? What they were looking at?
No, it was just a blank kind. You know how in your wallet you have like that clear pocket that you put your ID into?
Yeah.
It was that, but it was empty.
Oh wow, there was nothing in there.
There was nothing in there. You could see the leather on the other side. And I literally flattened. I don't know if it was like there was a glare on the screen. They were just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna, detective mode this shit. Or if he just saw there was no ID, it was like, I'm not paid enough to care.
They don't care, man. And I get it. They just like they don't care. They're like, all right, yeah, sure, you're fine. Just come on in. I've ran into that multiple times. Like I didn't have my ID with me. I accidentally left it at home, but I had my student ID where I was like, okay, you know what? Worst come to worst, and they actually do ask me. Like the one time out of 10 times they don't ask me, I'll just show my student ID, and I bet you they're gonna be like, all right, come on.
Yeah. The fact that I could show them a blank wallet, I think you'd get fined with a student ID.
I'd be overdoing it with a student ID.
Yeah, you're putting in too much effort.
Oh wow, that's funny. That's really hilarious. Yeah, man, I want to so we got breaking news here. We got breaking film. We got breaking TV news, really. Now, I don't watch this show, but when my wife heard, she was like, "No." So, do you watch The Witcher?
I do. And I also heard this news. This is something that I'm kind of conflicted on as well.
Yeah. So basically, Henry Cavill has already shot his scenes for season 3, so he's going to be in season 3. But people assume because he's taking up the Superman mantle again, season 4, he's going to pass the torch of his role on to Liam Hemsworth.
It already is confirmed that he is. So he did say that he's passing the torch on to Liam Hemsworth. And the guess is it's because he's taking back the role of Superman in the future DC movies. But that part hasn't been confirmed. He basically just said that he's passing the torch on to Liam Hemsworth to take over the role. And that's about it.
Yeah, so that's happening. So like I said, I don't watch the show, so I didn't really have much of an opinion. I'm like, oh, okay. But my wife and many other people on social media was like, no, not him. Or it was between not him and it was between why Henry, like you're grading the role. Why? Yeah. So what's your take?
I don't think anybody is upset that Liam Hemsworth is taking it over. I think most people are upset that Henry Cavill is leaving. Oh, really?
Some people are, yeah. They're like, why him? Like, you can't just trade. Like, some people are like, you can't trade one hot guy for another hot guy and think, okay, problem solved. Like, come on. Some people
what were
like
they
that.
expecting? Henry Cavill to go and they'd be like, and introducing the new Witcher, Danny DeVito. Like.
Do you think Liam can carry the role?
I think he's a fine actor. I think he can do it.
I've just seen him in Hunger Games, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I don't think there's any issue with him taking over the role. It's just more, I don't want to see Henry Cavill stop being.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Taking over the role of Geralt.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's like, it's like Breaking Bad. If Walter White, if Bryan Cranston out of nowhere says, Yeah, so they're bringing me back in to play Green Lantern, the old version. So I'm gonna bring Matthew Broderick in to play Walter White. It should work. I'm like, what? No, we
Right.
started with Bryan Cranston. Like, you know what I mean? So I
Right.
understand why people get upset. I understand why people are upset from that standpoint.
Well, also in other kind of news, speaking on kind of like superhero stuff, Harrison Ford is confirmed to be coming as Thaddeus Ross, aka Red Hulk, for the future because
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to remember who was playing him before, but yeah, when he
William
passed
Hurt.
away.
Yeah, William Hurt passed
Yes.
away. Great actor.
Yes. And yeah, Harrison Ford is taking over that role for the future films in which Thaddeus Ross will be present.
Yay. The question mark. I told you, man. I've been marveled out a long time ago. Like I was when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Harrison Ford. So he's a Hulk.
So he is the general of like the army in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the comics, he does later turn into the Red Hulk.
Can you see Harrison Ford turning into Red Hulk?
Yes, and I want to see it on screen.
I mean, he's already doing that new Indiana Jones, so he still got the fight in him. I'm kind of like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah, Harrison Ford, his is a weird one because at some point it was like it felt like he wanted to retire from everything, and then all of a sudden he came back and he realized like how much he loves acting again because he came back for Star Wars, he came back for Indiana Jones that's coming up soon, and now he's cast as Thaddeus Ross in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's like, okay, well, I'm glad he's coming back. I liked him as an actor. He's really good. But at the same time, it was like we went so long without really seeing him in anything that his return is just kind of very sudden.
Well, he's a fine actor, so I would never say I don't want to see Harrison Ford on screen. Just like Michael Douglas, right. I'm not a big Ant-Man fan, but I don't mind seeing him in those movies. I like Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of just whatever on it. I'm like, all right, fine. Bring them all back. Bring them all back. Get Clint Eastwood to, I don't know, bring them into something, a narrator or something. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Like I said, I'm so marveled out that the only thing I'm looking forward to is BP2. Outside of that, Ant-Man is cool, but I never really watched the Ant-Man movie, so I don't really care about the Quantumania thing that much. But yeah, I'm kind of marveled out, man.
Okay. Oh, so you're not excited for the holiday special for Guardians of the Galaxy?
I might tune in, but then I'll feel like, well, how can I watch this? And I haven't seen Hawkeye or She-Hulk or the rest of them. Like
it's gonna not be tied into any of that. You'll be fine.
I know you say that, but the completionist in me will be like, you're breaking your own rules. I'm like, I might still watch it, man. I told you I wasn't that big of a fan of Guardians 2. It felt like the same movie to me.
The holiday special feels like it's just going to be a very campy holiday themed kind of, adventure featuring Drax and Mantis coming to Earth.
I feel like you really want me to watch this movie. Are you asking me to watch this movie?
I can honestly say I'm probably more excited about that than I am for anything else Marvel has coming right now.
Yeah.
And that's even counting like things like Black Panther in a couple weeks, which I can't wait to see that. But at the same time, like the Guardians holiday special is like, oh my God, I need it.
Well, James Gunn is your guy. So I completely understand. Yeah, I mean, that looks interesting. The Werewolf by Night looks interesting. I think I might check that out one of these days.
That one was very good.
You finally saw it.
Oh yeah. That one was very good because it doesn't really have ties to the MCU while still being in the MCU. There's very few references to it, but it definitely has its own like standalone vibe to it, the same way that like Moon Knight did. And if you don't care for the MCU at all, but you love like old campy horror style movies and everything like that, like black and white horror style, This is a great homage to that kind of era of films.
So what would you give it out of 5?
I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
I really liked it.
All right, that's worth taking into consideration. Like I said, I might I am gonna check it out one day. I've just kind of just taking my sweet time with some of this stuff. Here's another thing. It's kind of old by now, but it's kind of still happening. This Kanye West Fallout thing is crazy.
Oh my God, yes. The fact that, well, with everything that he's doing and everything, he gets dropped by Adidas. I love that his first instinct was, I should go to Reebok, the company with Jewish
Skechers.
CEOs. Skechers, that's it. Yes.
Dude. And not only that you had Jewish people in charge over there, it's like, dude, to get shunned by Skechers, like you really need time to recalibrate your strategy.
Right.
Like
I also love what I think is possibly the greatest headline of all time. Goodwill is no longer accepting any Kanye merchandise for donations.
Is that an Onion headline or is that true?
That's a real headline.
They won't even accept your stuff at the Goodwill. Wow. Yeah. Wow. See, if I had a niece or nephew that really loved Yeezy shoes, I'd be like, you know what? I don't have to spend anything on Christmas money this year. I just find somebody that's just willing to give them away for nothing, grab them and just send them off to them.
Well, if I want to say that their value has like skyrocketed because of this, because there's no more coming now. So you got to keep in mind, shoe collectors, they care more about value than they do the shoes. So when all of a sudden this is the end of the line for it, the entire line becomes worth more.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, man, it's like, I see all this happening, and there's a deeper conversation to be had from within the Black community of Kanye's fall too. But just to generalize it, just for the double feature versus audience, you see all this happening in real time, and you're like, dude, how did we not see this happening years ago? Like, Kanye has always been a reckless person that says things for controversy. He's always been this dude. And now people are shocked that this fall is coming to him right now. I'm like, I think this is like 4 years too late.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's an old bit by Bill Burr that's starting to resurface where, he's talking about Kanye and going, he's absolutely out of his mind. Listen to anything he says. Take it out of the fact that Kanye is the person saying it. Just imagine anybody else saying exactly the things Kanye is saying. Close your eyes and listen to it. And you'd be like, we got to get this person in a psych ward tonight.
Right.
And that's back when he was like, I'm a god, my only regret is I'll never be able to see myself perform. Like
that's such a Kanye thing to say when you think about it, though.
Those are real things he said.
Listen, man. I said this to my family. I said, listen, man, Kanye is one of those people that he says outlandish things like slavery sounds like a choice. 400 years of slavery sounds like a choice. But when he drops a fire album, everybody gets amnesia. Like, oh yeah, he did say that. And did you check out this new album though? Mm-hmm. Like that's what would happen. And dude, I wish they probably already done it. Like, I want to see a Curb Your, the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song.
Oh yeah, the dun, dun, dun.
Right. I want to see one where he's like he's on Drink Champs. You know that podcast, Drink Champs?
Yeah.
A lot of him. Okay, he's on there. And he's like, I could say anti-Semitic things, and Adidas won't even drop me. And then they show the headline of Adidas drops Yeezys, and you go dun 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 dun.
I guarantee somebody already made it. It's been how long since that happened? It's been done. It's a matter of just finding.
Yeah, but all of this is just crazy, dude. And it kind of goes in hand with the film I saw, Tar, where you just, and again, I'm not really ruining anything, but it's just that fall from grace where it's like you get dropped by the agency, your lawyer, his own label got dropped by Def Jam, the good music label. It's like everything's getting dropped, and you're like, and he's going, well, this is what I wanted to happen. I wanted to be canceled. It's like, dude, I don't think you have a master plan here, man. I think you just need to. Well,
You ended up saying something too far, not realizing that you actually had a limit. And now you're trying to save face by saying, well, this is what I wanted in the end anyway.
But that's the thing. What he said was horrible. He's been saying horrible things towards his own community before that. But I just think our community, I don't want to say we weren't strong enough, but we just weren't on code enough to stop supporting him. That's my take on it from our community. And when I say our community, I mean
it's one of those things where, it's definitely something strange to like watch happen, where you see somebody that has been so full of themselves for so long, finally hit that one note where everything collapsed, and you're just like, wow, so that's where the line is. Okay, let me just jot that down, because apparently that's where the stopping point of crazy is.
Yeah, and I remember asking somebody on I think it was on Discord or something. I was like, do y'all think Kanye's done? And somebody's like, well, he's always gonna have his loyal fans. He's always gonna be performing music or making music. Because I admit it, man, when it comes to music, he is a genius. He's great with music. But I feel like as far as like becoming that number one guy that's known in hip hop, along with the Diddy's and the Jay-Z's, I think that might be done as far as like being totally popular, like even more popular than a Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think in terms of like he hit the high of his career. I don't think he's gonna bounce back from that. He'll always be around, but he's never gonna be the number one best-selling album, 3 times in a row again.
Mm-hmm. And that's sad. That's sad. He brought himself there, but it's sad that so much talent just brought down to that like amount of like fall for grace.
Right.
All right. Well, that wraps up the show. You got anything else you want to add?
Nothing else I can think of.
All right, y'all. Follow us. You can follow me on Twitter at Black Cinephile. You can follow Brad at Brad Rosner. You can find our written reviews. You can find my reviews for Tar and Triangle of Sadness coming soon on 8bitwaffles.com. That's it. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't stop watching movies. And we're out of here.